You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach. And here's the thing, Adam, I'm going to be honest. Bad Boy of X-Men Podcasting, Warwolf, blah, 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 all the bits. All the bits. Yeah. We did all the bits. We're back. I don't know why I went in with like this accent, which isn't anything.
I thought you were going for like sports radio or like morning, shock jock. I don't know what you were going for there.
I do sound like, what is it? KRUD. We play songs that sound more like anything else than everybody else. Or whatever they say in that Queens of the Stone Age album, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm glad that Songs for the Deaf got a giggle out of you, Adam.
See, I thought you were going to do kind of like an Irish or a Scottish thing, but I know
it's different, and
not everybody loves it when we do accents on the show. I understand that.
I have gotten zero feedback because I refuse to read any feedback about myself. At this point, my feedback, and I believe we've discussed this many times, is if I make myself or Adam laugh, and I'm good with it.
Well, this week we are talking about two characters who come from a similar part of the world geographically, but not the same. And that
neighbors.
is
We're about to say the British Isles are a similar part of the world.
Sure.
That's geography.
But I wouldn't say that the Irish and the Scottish like to be confused with one another, would you?
I would say no.
Yeah.
I would say not confused with one another, but in the same way that like my hometown didn't like getting confused with their rival high school right down the road. And we're like, we're different. And I'd be like, yes, but
maybe not substantially.
There's a lot of similarities on top of the differences. Like that's just what culture is with neighbors.
Yes. So this week we are talking about the very Scottish Moira McTaggart and the very Irish Sean Cassidy, a.k.a. Banshee, and of course, their undying love and affection for one another.
Very literally undying, and also sometimes very dying love and affection for one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd because I feel like we think of this, at least I think of this, as like, oh yeah, that's one of like the main X-Men romances. Because they're together pretty much, not from Jump, but they are the earliest romance in the book that's not Scott and Jean,
Anna and I were talking about this, though. Like, it's so off-page.
Almost entirely off-page.
Like, it's one of these things where you're just checking in with the two of them occasionally, and they're just, like, madly in love,
Still dating.
And then, I guess in the early 90s, they break up, and she goes and does legacy virus research.
Not even, like, super breakup. It's more of a, hey, we're adults, and we've got some other stuff going on right now.
Yeah. It's very odd. And then we'll get into
what it is they wanted to use each individual character in a different book.
Yes.
That's all it is.
But it's just funny because like lots of X-Men people know that this is like a romance and know that it is a relationship, but there's not much actually to it.
There's not a lot of skin on those bones, which will come back later.
Now, Zach, this was a you pick 'em from our.
This was a you pick 'em from our patrons. Here's the thing that we do when new subscribers are a little light. And that happens from time to time. We are all living in economic uncertainty, so this is not a pressure campaign. This is just me saying when they are light, we go around and we compile a list of ideas from our patrons. In fact, something that we are just kicking off a new cycle of right now, like
exciting
literally minutes before recording this.
Love it.
So if you want to go over to patreon.com/Battle of the Atom, reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks and toss a couple of coins into our coffers at the $5 a month level, you can get your own episode built all around one of your ideas. And as you are a sustaining member, we open up these You Pick'ems to say, hey, this is what I would like to hear. This is the content that I want in my Battle of the Atom in the upcoming year. And we're doing that now. Those polls will be open for a while. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no actual end time on it. It's just eventually people will stop seeing that post on Patreon. It's still there. You just have to scroll down to it. It's just further down on the page. That's the nature of sequential timelines, which I know is actually not all that common on the internet anymore. It's buck wild. We're not doing any algorithm shifting here to get the most relevant content in front of you. The most relevant content in front of you is giving us $5 to do a whole episode. That's what's relevant. But the You Pick'ems, here's the rules, guys. Only bangers. And that doesn't mean banger stories. It means banger ideas.
Yes. We need high concept.
We don't want trash. I do not want someone to get on there and say, you know what? Wolverine's my favorite character. So can we do a Wolverine episode? That's nothing. Love you to death.
We've heard of Wolverine, you know.
Very familiar. We're actually, here's the wild thing. Big fans of Wolverine.
Love the guy.
All of his adventures. Like,
sure. There's a lot of them, though.
We do enjoy Wolverine. It's just we need a little bit of a tighter focus than that.
And we've done a Banshee themed episode before.
Have we? I mean,
we have, but
500 some almost into this. I'm sure we have.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever focused on this relationship before. So we are going to start with a pretty weird one. This is from 1995. And this is What If, Volume 1, number 75, which is what, Zach?
What If Blink had not died? This is written by Stefan Patucha and penciled by Greg Ludznik. Now, are you familiar with Stefan or Greg's work? Because I'm going to be real, Adam. I am not.
Let's see. I'm looking... And it looks like
Greg did Phoenix Resurrection Genesis. He did Ultraverse stuff.
He did, yeah, and looks like a run of X Factor.
Hold on, did he do that Slingers issue?
No,
he did other issues around that Slingers issue that we have on the list.
Yeah,
he did a couple of. Are those the Haven issues of X Factor?
Yes, around before 100.
Yeah, he did Haven. That's weird. Haven's a weird one. He also did the Punisher Back to School special. Bud, Adam, I'm going to show you this cover.
Okay.
This cover's so good. Go look up Punisher Back to School special. Bill Sienkiewicz does this cover.
Okay. Whoa, that's not good. What?
It's a composition notebook.
Wait, this is a mini series.
No, it's like one issue, I think. Is it a mini?
I think there's multiple issues of this.
Hey, it's a composition book, and it says name Frank Castle. Subject, annihilation. Bill Sienkiewicz draws this.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is some troubling imagery that I'm looking at right now.
Oh, but here's the thing about 90s Punisher. And I'm not defending everything about 90s Punisher, but this isn't even like close to the wildest Punisher cover. Obviously, you just rented that jet ski to the Punisher, kiss that baby goodbye.
Yeah.
There's also Maternity War. Do you know about Maternity War?
Punisher Maternity War. That would not be my pick for the weirdest, but yeah, that's a good one. That's the one where it's Howard Chaykin, right? And he's like holding the babies.
He's holding babies while shooting stuff. He has babies like strapped to him like a bandolier. How did fascists take this guy seriously? Do they know that Punisher is for bits?
I mean, the wildest Punisher story of all time for me is the one where in the 90s they like had him do an undercover mission in a prison and used plastic surgery to make him a black man.
Black man, yeah, that one.
Lecture Luke Cage about like black on black crime. That's pretty wild.
Story-wise, yes. Cover-wise,
babies might be.
I have to go because the corner box of the babies one is a baby in an oversized Punisher onesie.
Jesus. Well, there's no Punisher here in What If Blink of Generation X had not died. The
No.
cover is interesting because, you know, people don't think of Blink as a member of Generation X, but if you were reading the Phalanx Covenant and you were reading the issues that did lead up to what turned into Generation X, Blink was one of the recruits who then, of course, died. And people liked her so much that she got brought back as part of Age of Apocalypse.
And then brought back as part of Exiles. And now Blink is this thing where it's like a tertiary Marvel character in X-Men that has oddly been prominent or semi-prominent in a bunch of media.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly, in that media, she's Asian
Yeah.
versus Jamaican. But to be fair, she wasn't written very Jamaican in Phalanx Covenant. And unless you read a few captions, you would never know.
No. I mean, Blink has always drawn like very non-specific, so I don't know.
And in a Joe Mad style with purple hair, so you could be forgiven for assuming, oh yeah, that's just like a cool ninja character that Joe Mad drew.
Sure.
Like I can logic out how that happens. None of that's relevant here because here we get Blink at the end of Phalanx Covenant with what's his name? What's the Harvest? Is that his name? The bad?
It's one of the Harvest.
Yeah. It is that point where they do the Harvest thing, and then bada bing, bada boom. Turns out maybe Blink didn't die. Maybe Blink gets into a pocket multiverse with the In-Betweener.
Yeah, so we have, instead of Blink dying in that moment in Phalanx Covenant, all of Generation X died. And it even
with the exception of Banshee.
Banshee is still kind of struggling for air, and when Blink finds herself in this other world, she is learning that
it is a other space world.
Yes, which we might as well spoil is the realm of the In-Betweener, who is the other major villain in this character. I don't know what we would cosmic being. So
the In-Betweener is an entity.
Yes, but I wouldn't call him a villain necessarily, just a challenge.
Are any of the cosmic entities a villain per se?
Galactus eats planets, so
yeah. Hold on. Galactus is not a villain. Galactus simply is.
I know, but
I love Gallon of Todd and his hot mom.
He eats people, so
yeah, but sometimes he's the life bringer. You remember when Galactus was gold, right? Gold Galactus?
It's true.
That was so good.
It's true. Anyway. Well, speaking of life bringing, Blink realizes that in this in-between world, she has the power to affect change. She helps Banshee survive. And wouldn't you know it, we get a trolley problem in this, that by taking this alternate route and running over the Gen X kids, all of a sudden, all of the X-Men's problems and the issues with Earth and mutant kind are suddenly just erased. Everything's roses for all of our X characters.
It seems like all you had to do to solve all of the X-Men's problems was kill Emma Frost and a bunch of children.
Yeah, it does seem that way because we get the sense that everybody is going to have like beautiful families and children, and Banshee and Moira are among those who, start their own family.
They have 4 strapping youngins. Charles Xavier is walking.
Yep. Everybody seems to be like, cured of their PTSD and just like having picnics and having a great time because the world's a peaceful place. But Banshee cannot shake the feeling that something is wrong.
He starts having weird dreams about this, and then starts to realize that, oh no, this isn't the right world. We have to fix it.
A bold stance for a person who in this world has multiple children and suddenly is willing to, against his wife's wishes, sacrifice that relationship and his own offspring just to bring back Generation X.
To be fair, Storm and Forge, who are together in this comic, are like, Banshee, I'm really sorry that you feel like this is not the right universe, but you're You're saying let's do a mass suicide of everything that we know and love to make things worse. Like when he's thinking of the alternate universe, one of the pictures that Charles Xavier like puts up on the screen is of a Nazi Red Skull. Like that's what we want to go back to, right?
I would also like to point that the dinosaurs take over the world, and they're led by Devil Dinosaur. It looks like in the top right of this
Yeah.
alternate, 2 Galactuses fighting on the Twin Towers. That's a wild image.
That rules. We should have done this in our September 11th, not September 11th episode. The one that wasn't about 9/11.
Yeah. So before Sean can, act on any of his plans, it turns out that by Blink's meddling, she hasn't actually solved everything, and things actually are pretty terrible. And Sean travels through the space-time continuum or whatever
To try and kill Blink, to do a murder on Blink.
Yeah, and Blink just ends up becoming like the In-Betweener's apprentice, and the timeline gets set back to what originally was. But that means that in the tradition of What If, the alternate timeline that we have seen where lots of good stuff happened is no more.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
Here's what I find interesting about this specific comic. This is this before? Yeah, this is right before. This is December to. Yeah, this is coming out the same month that Age of Apocalypse has wrapped up. So it is going from like maybe Blink is a big deal to Blink's awesome and everyone likes Blink.
Yeah, so we get very 90s art here from Lesniak throughout. I will compliment some of the very busy pages that are here where Blink is having her visions and is being thrown in with all of these different images around her. It's very 90s. It's very of the moment. It's very the style. I don't know if it's aged particularly well, but I'll compliment him on the.
It's perfectly fine for a What If comic.
Yes, I'd say it looks better than a lot of What If comics. A lot of What If comics really have pretty subpar art. This one's okay. I don't know. I don't know really what the angle is here. That's really all that interesting, though. Like, because it doesn't really have a good mission statement. Like, I guess the idea is like sacrifice some people and like everybody else gets to have a good time. But then I don't know. It's jumbled in its messaging.
Here's the thing that I think this comic, and here's the actual secret, a lot of superhero comics could learn, is that your story has to be about something. It cannot just be a list of events. You really should have a story be about something. Like, why are you telling the story? What is it? And I'm not saying it needs to have a moral. I'm not saying it needs to have be a Sunday school lesson. I do think that if you are creating art, you should be trying to express something, a feeling, a theme, an idea. Like, art is an expression of the human spirit. And I am not sure that What If 75 expresses the human spirit in a strong and compelling way.
You might be asking too much of this What If comic. I will say,
no. I think. I'm sorry for talking over you, my friend. I think, though, that comic readers tend to ask too little of their art and have come to accept comics that exist, and their entire point is Spider-Man saves the day. I do not prescribe to that. I think that we can have better and that we should have better, and I feel that because if you read darn near any other superhero writer's other work, they express a thing in that work.
Well, I think the easiest way around this would, as many of these time travel, like What If stories work, is, there's no real connective tissue between the consequence of Gen X dying, right? Like,
Yes.
you might think that those Gen X characters would be key and integral to some future event that they needed to be alive to deal with or whatever, or their deaths caused something. And that's not what's happening here. It's just
Honestly, it seems
Sean
like
and
everyone's happier that they're dead.
yeah, yeah. And that's an interesting way to play this, to say that Sean and Moira are having like the best life ever. And, Moira is very off model here. It's really strange. She doesn't look like Moira.
No one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that part's weird.
Uh, I mean, there's something here. You could do something with this, but it doesn't land all the way. So, I'm curious where you think this might go on our big old list, Zach.
That's a great thing, and thank you for bringing it up, Adam. I'm so glad that we get to talk about our big old list because, folks, we've been ranking every X-Men story from best to worst for years now. We have ranked 1,095 different X-Men stories from best to worst. The best X-Men story is the House of X Powers of 10. The 250th best is New Mutants Magic versus Forge. The 500th best is the Generation X Holiday Special. 750. I'm sorry, I forgot about this story. 750 is Uncanny X-Men 414. Fall Down, Go Boom. That's where a child who explodes is homophobic towards North Star and then blows up.
Yeah.
It's just Jean Paul Leon draws it. It is a truly gorgeous. JPL draws that one. I couldn't remember if it was JPL or Sean Phillips, but no, JPL does that one. Gorgeous. Interesting, not good. 1,000 is What If Astonishing X-Men, and 1,095 is 2099 World of Tomorrow. This is better than What If Astonishing X-Men.
Which is all the way at?
That's at 1,000. That's at 1,000.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's work our way up. Okay.
It's not as good as Gen X Holiday Special at 500. So we've narrowed it in half.
Oh, okay. Because down at 656, we have What If Wolverine Married Mariko. Would you say that it's better than that?
No, that involves, if memory serves,
Yep.
that involves that really funny limo scene with the Kingpin.
Yes, it really does.
That one's better.
So, at 677, we have What If Deadly Genesis. I think this might be better than that.
I don't know. What if Deadly Genesis has some interesting ideas?
It does though.
Like I feel like what if Deadly Genesis is trying to express something?
Yeah.
Where this is struggling with that. I'm looking at like 715 is Wolverine Enemy of the State. I think Enemy of the State's better than this.
And at 718, we have What If 13, which is What If Professor X was the Juggernaut, which I think those two issues are a little bit more interesting than this.
I do too.
Yeah.
750's fault. This isn't as good as Fall Down, Go Boom at 750.
And I don't think it's as good as What If 46 to 47. What if Cable killed the X-Men / Magneto took over the USA? I think that's more.
The problem with What If is that What Ifs are honestly challenged in content.
Yeah.
This is probably better than Exiles 100 at 810.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think we're in the right area here, like low 700s. Just trying to find
802 is Champions Volume 3 number 1 War of the Realms. That's that Scott and Kamala issue.
Yeah.
I think that one's better than this.
How about Exiles 8 to 10 at 804?
I'd put it below that, but above Extraordinary X-Men Weird World at 805.
All right, great. So this is our new 805. What if Blink had not died?
What if Blink had not died? Who's to say?
Yeah. So we saw a relatively happy, then not happy Moira and Sean there. Let's go to another. I don't know how to say this, but I don't know how to introduce this one other than to say this is the end of Generation X Volume 1. We're doing issues 71 to 75. The first 4 issues are called 4 Days. This is written by Brian Wood. We've got pencils here from Steve Pugh and Ron Lim. and covers by Art Adams.
Let's get some things out of the way. I think the Art Adams covers are great.
Sure.
Really, Art Adams only does like the first two. Steve Pugh and Ron Lim do the other three.
Yes.
But the Art Adams covers include a like killer all-timer cover of Chamber.
Pretty good.
Which is like, it's just super. Standard Brian Wood asterisk here. Kind of a sex creep. Whole thing. It's what it is.
Yep.
Steve Pugh, I know nothing about his background except for that he did that really funny Flintstones comic with Mark Russell.
Yeah, Steve Pugh, I feel like, is a much better fit for this material than Ron Lim.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. By the way, Steve Pugh has a Vertigo book with Kyle Starks coming out next year.
Oh, cool.
Go check that out when it comes out, because Peacemaker Tries Hard that those two did was very funny, and I'm not a guy that watches the Peacemaker TV show, so I have no connection to it other than thinking it's pretty funny.
Yeah, show's good. I would read the comic. But Steve,
you've had 2 years.
Sure.
You've had 2 years to read the comic.
I also don't really read DC Comics at all, so
it's okay. This one involves this. Here's what I'll tell you. It is not an adaptation of the show. Peacemaker does get a pet.
The eagle or no?
No, it's a dog, and he names the dog after a famous person. So he has, I believe it's a pug or some sort of other small breed named Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
And then he has to, I believe, rescue that dog.
Oh my God. This sounds great. And it's by Kyle Starks?
It's by Kyle Starks.
Sounds great.
It's honestly a killer book. I would say Ron Lim, not the best fit on this, but generally doing well. I think Steve Pugh's art is really expressive here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because all 5 of these, like, it is for one arc and then the final issue, but they all feel like they are of a piece. Because the first 4 issues are like one day or like one group of events told between 4 different perspectives.
Yes. And then the final issue obviously is, the team deciding, well, we've had enough. Well, we don't want to be in this book anymore.
It's 4 different perspectives, but not in like a Rashomon way. It's just like, here's 4 things that happened on that day.
Yeah. Here's what's happening. So in 71, a couple of the team members, including Chamber, Monet, and Jubilee, are going into New York proper. They're going into Midtown. They're going to hang out.
The Big Apple.
Right. The first issue is about Chamber and how, he's a incel and can't.
Chamber's not an incel, because here's the thing. No, Chamber is not an incel because Chamber can and actively does pull.
Well, he feels like
Chamber is a vocel, if anything. He is voluntarily celibate.
I don't know. Here he seems, at least to begin with, very interested in meeting ladies, but very confused about how to do it, given that his chest through his nose is a giant fiery pit of hell.
Okay, hold on. We have to talk about Chamber's dating history here, because I want my boy properly represented. His face explodes as he's hooking up with a chick.
That sucks.
Which, granted, reasonable to give him a little bit of anxiety about.
I would say some
this.
Severe PTSD for ever wanting to make out with anyone else for the rest of his life.
Also, the lack of a face is really going to make that hard.
It's tough. Yep.
It's why he teaches that one class in X-Men Legacy where Rockslide stands up and says, "How come I get horny still if I don't have no junk?" And Chamber's like, "Yeah, we got to talk about this, guys." Very funny. But Chambers in the right perspective on that. Then has a sustained relationship with the first girl he meets at the new school.
Yes.
Like on again, off again for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then meets this deaf goth chick.
Yes.
This alt punk chick who there are so many guys on the internet. This like incel dream right here is find this girl, get her number, be like, I want to date, even though you're kind of off kilter. I like you. He makes fun of Britney Spears during this. After this, he dates Britney Spears
in Poptopia. Yep.
In Poptopia, weeks later.
He is just a little insufferable here. You know, his dream is coming true. He's getting to meet this girl. He's connecting with her. They're having a moment, and he's like, I gotta throw her digits out. You know, at the end, he throws it out the window, and it's just like, I gotta question this given the author. You know, like this feels icky in a weird way.
That's
It's also just
interesting to me.
it's also just because like he can't start a new relationship right now because the book has to end. So it's a weird time for him to have this like glorious rom-com, you know, meet cute in the city, and for him to walk away from it because, well, he's got to go in 4 issues and join the X-Men, which is what happens in 75.
See, I had a different perspective on that, and I think your perspective is very interesting. In my perspective, this was a like character piece about Chamber. Like, who's Chamber? What's going on with him? And Chamber is someone who, especially romantically, is like, I can't let her be with me. I'm a monster. Like, I think it's trying to say something about him as a character in his anxieties and his fears.
Sure.
That
then he spends the entire issue leading her on and, you know, having this wonderful
he's
day.
A teenager. He's a crappy teenager. Like,
I know, but Zach, you got to remember,
teenage behavior is bad.
I know we don't need to spend all the time on this issue because there's other ones, but it is wild to me that he encounters this girl, scares the shit out of her so bad. Oh, I gotta edit that out. Scares her so bad that she runs into traffic, then scares her again by speaking to her telepathically because she doesn't have a mouth and she doesn't know how to hear, and because she physically can't hear, and like is like scared to death, and then proceeds to like have this romantic day in the city with her, only for him to get her information with the idea that they are going to continue to talk, and then throws that number away. I think that's really strange.
I think that is sad goth boy behavior.
I guess.
Like, your perspective and your point is incredibly valid. I just see it slightly different in a way of that's what the book's trying to express. Like, I think you're supposed to feel like Chamber, you idiot.
Sure. That's part of it.
Yes.
But I don't have to like it. Then we go to Jubilee and Monet, who, you know, have this like Soho shopping experience and then fight off some anti-mutant people in the subway. Monet really shows off her superpowers by stopping a bullet from hitting Jubilee. There's a very strange 1-issue story with Paige, who's become obsessed with security measures, but then runs into ghosts and then has to like, that one does not work at all.
That one's weird. I see what it's going for, but it doesn't have enough to it to work.
Yeah. But
like it exists, but it's weird. Did you like, just before we jump off it, how did you, as my local Jubilee expert, how did you feel about this Jubilee story, the Jubilee Monet one, where they eventually get to a point of being sad about Everett dying?
I liked it, honestly. I think Pugh does a really good version of Jubilee visually. I enjoyed the fact that like they were kind of having this bonding experience after years and years of not knowing how to connect, which is then reflected again in the last issue.
Jubilee tries to convince Monet to have boba.
Before boba
in the
tea was
early
popular.
2000s.
Yeah. She's like, Starbucks is going to start carrying this stuff. You know, it's a funny little moment.
It took them a while. Does Starbucks have boba? I
don't think they do. No,
I don't think they have boba, but you can get boba at a lot of places.
Very popular now. Yeah.
Anyway,
the focus go ahead.
I was going to say the focus of what we picked this for in the 4 days arc is number 73, which is a Skin and Sean Cassidy issue.
Mm-hmm.
Skin's learning to like suck less at his powers.
Yeah.
And to be fair, his powers aren't great, but Skin's a fun character.
Yeah.
I like Skin a lot.
But now he's
And
learning like he can use his powers to block a punch, flip somebody over, swing from trees. Like he's after 70 issues, Skin is figuring it out.
which great for Angelo. Sean is like, I'm in a good mood today. You know what? I've done a bad job of being a on again, off again boyfriend to Moira. I'm gonna give her a call. Sean gives her a call. Charles Xavier picks up.
This is ridiculous.
Sean's like, oh, hey, Charles, what's up? Hey, buddy, this is weird. I called Moira. And if I'm Sean, first thing I'm thinking is, hey, why is Moira's ex picking up her phone?
Great question.
He does not address that because, Moira got killed. Moira got dead. Moira's dead. Sean, how does he take it, Adam?
This is a very, very bizarre reaction to this because how did he not know? First of all, how did no one decide to call Sean Cassidy and tell him that the love of his life had died?
As we know, the X-Men are bad at phones.
But
historically, Adam, really bad at phones. Remember when they didn't tell people Jean Grey was alive?
I know. It's just a ridiculous scenario that no one would have told him, and that he learns this way. His response to this,
like call number 2,
yeah,
and only because, in fact, should have been number 1 because Rain was already there.
Yes. Now, if a normal person heard this news, they would be absolutely traumatized and would be jumping in a car to go like handle funeral arrangements or whatever they needed to do to like be by the side of any loved ones, whatever it would be. That is not what Banshee does. Banshee decides that the thing he needs to do is take Skin out for a beer. What?
Okay. Again, I see that as a very realistic response.
No, that is not a realistic response. Sean and Skin have
dudes I know.
Sean and Skin have this day planned where they're supposed to be going out and purchasing a piece of security equipment from some old like intelligence contacts that Sean knows about. So the issue has to get to that somehow, even though it shouldn't. You know,
I don't dislike the idea of Sean grieving in such a way that his response to grief is to bury himself in work. I understand that response. I'm not calling it good or healthy. I am saying that I get it. I've been there.
I just think, given what we have seen of Sean Cassidy and his undying love for this woman, that it is odd that he does not collapse into a heap and sob. He decides to go about his normal business for the day and have a rather lighthearted, jovial conversation illustrated by Ron Lim, who is not expressing any emotion on this character's face.
I think Ron could, because what I think is that Sean is supposed to be seen as conflicted and like not processing his emotions super well here. And I don't think Lim's art is carrying that.
I don't think the writing is either, honestly. I think the writing is just like, well, gosh, that's a weird thing that just happened to me. Let's go do our mission. Because
I think the writing is setting up what Sean's further reactions will be in like 75. Like it's table setting for that.
Sure. But even there, I mean, it's like, oh, Sean's got a drinking problem. Okay. You know,
it jumps to it pretty quickly. I would not disagreeing with that.
But again, like, Sean, why are you still in the house?
What's he going to do?
I mean, there are things to do after a loved one dies. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to the funeral. He's just going to go drink himself.
Did they have a funeral? Did they have a funeral? Like,
I don't know. One would assume there would be. I mean,
to be fair, she was a sheer golem, so like maybe Charles swept that thing under the rug.
That's true. We'll learn that later. Anyway, there's a whole thing where Banshee gets abducted by these old intelligence guys. It's so stupid.
It's by the IRA.
Yeah, it's very dumb. It's bad. It's Skin has to save him.
I like Skin saving the day. I'm warmer on this arc than you are, which I think is interesting.
I think that the highlight of it is the Jubilee Monet issue. The rest of it, I think, is pretty bad. It's pretty.
What do you think about the very last issue, 75?
I think it's an excuse to wrap up a book.
It feels like they didn't know in the previous 4 issues that this was going to be the last.
It does feel like that. They wake up, they're like, "Oh, did Emma kill her sister? Is Banshee an alcoholic? And oh, Chambers joining the X-Men. You know what, guys? I think we're done here. Let's just call it a day." And it's very strange.
It's odd. You get everyone essentially disbanding and going their separate ways. Jubilee and Skin go back out to LA.
Mm-hmm.
M says later, "I'm going to Monaco. Peace out." Husk is like, "I'm going to be an environmentalist now," which does come out of nowhere. And I'm saying this as a guy who's very pro environment. While that becomes Husk's priority after no previous connection to it whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, she
becomes super mean.
That is the ultimate reason that they stopped being Generation X, is because Paige has decided that the team is going to help stop some kind of like illegal deforestation, and Emma's like, "Yeah, no, you're staying home." And they're like, "You know what? We don't need anybody to tell us that anymore."
I would have to reread the first Wood Generation X arc,
mm-hmm.
because I'm not sure if Brian Wood just fundamentally doesn't understand who Emma was for the previous like 60 odd issues.
Yeah.
Or if he's intentionally writing her as like cold and separating from everybody and pushing everyone away after the death of Adrian, after she kills Adrian with a bullet. Because that's the thing. If you screw with Emma Frost, she may do a lot of things to you with her mind powers, or she may shoot you with a bullet.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't very hot on this.
I think the last issues, I think they get progressively worse as they go on.
Yeah.
But I don't fully dislike it. Like, I feel like the Brian Wood Generation X shows a lot of potential that is unrealized, but does like, it's a heck of a lot more interesting than the book had been since Lobdell, probably.
It's trying some stuff. It's swinging. I don't think that it is succeeding in doing anything particularly interesting. How do you feel about it compared to Big Trouble in Madripoor, which is Generation X?
This is better than Big Trouble.
That is at 722.
This is better. This is better than darn near anything Jay Ferber wrote.
Is it better than at 694? We have Gen X 55 to 56, the one where they time travel back to Uncanny X-Men 281.
Where is that at?
That's at 694.
Hold on, I'm jumping down to it. I apologize. I'm clicking. We have a lot of 694. This is better than 694.
All right.
Yeah, I think this is. Is this better than Daydreamers?
No.
Okay.
It's not as good as Dazzler 13 at 684, where she's.
That's where she goes to jail.
That's fun.
This is better than the first 5 issues of Extraordinary X-Men, though, at 687.
Sure. So that leaves X-Men Regenesis and X-Men Legacy Lost Legions.
Let's put it below the Legions one.
Okay. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Great. So at 687, we have the last arc of Generation X, 4 days, and we have one last epic tale of Moira and Banshee, mainly Moira, but definitely some Banshee. This
an incredibly important Banshee appearance.
Yes, this is this 10 or X?
This is X Deaths of Wolverine.
X Deaths of Wolverine by friend of the show, Ben Percy, penciled and inked by Federico Vicentini. This is basically like, this was a surprise because we had seen,
because you'd read. we've read this, so why is this a surprise to you?
Well,
Let's review.
It was a surprise at the time because
You're right.
remember, folks, that Hickman had just exited the line. He had just written
Literally
Inferno.
just finishes Inferno like 2 weeks before this.
Yes, and then it's Ben Percy. We know he's doing 10 Lives, X Deaths, and we don't really know what this book is. We have an idea that like Wolverine's like traveling through time or something and chased by Omega Red. That turns out just to be X Lives. We really didn't know much about what X Deaths was going to be, and then it turns out it's a surprise Moira book. And not only is it a surprise Moira book, but it's basically like badass Sarah O'Connor, like the Terminator version of Moira on the run from Mystique, and it rips.
That's the thing about this book, is that I remember, and we were talking about this at the time, Hickman, you go from Hickman's Inferno, which isn't the ending that that anyone really wanted, but it's a perfectly serviceable, like, we're going to wrap up this. In Inferno, it's pretty well said, hey, Moira is not as good as maybe people were ascribing to her, which I find very interesting. And the reason why I find it interesting, Adam, is because if you read House of X and Powers of 10,
yep,
Moira's not good in that comic.
No.
She is beyond good and evil. She is her own. She has her own ideas and her own plans and all these things. And sometimes those align with the X-Men. And in Inferno, it's pretty well revealed that, hey, chickens have come to roost. Destiny's back. She does not like that Moira was homophobic for so long and kept Mystique and Destiny apart. And they're going to do something about it. They're going to cause problems on purpose. Moira doesn't like this and is afraid for her life. And I think that's what's interesting, because if there's anything that drives Moira that is consistent through her entire arc in Hoxpox, it's that she's afraid of dying, which is ironic because she dies a lot.
Well, we are in the final life. So
she's afraid of it all running out, this
is Moira 10. Now, there's a couple of other really key important things that we need to know going into this story. One is that she had, like you said, planned on actually decimating and curing, quote unquote, mutant kind. So there's a good reason for Mystique and the X-Men to be after her, right? 2, she's dying. It turns out that Krakoa itself has poisoned her and given her like terminal lung cancer.
To be fair, in Hoxpox, it's like, yeah, so Moira's living in a tumor.
Yeah.
Like, they do say that. Like, all of this, I am not a, oh, what if we got the original plan truther? Because that's not
how comics work.
That's not how any creative process works. Like, the only way that works is like in a novel or a film when you get the final product all at once. But even during that, first draft and last draft are very different. You just don't see the in-betweens.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something that is a sequential story that is told through years, things can happen, ideas happen. And guys, big Johnny Hicks fan, not all of his first ideas were best ideas. Did we really want Storm to have a time travel baby with Black Panther? Like, I'm just saying, sometimes things just, stories change in the telling, and that's fine and normal and good, and everyone needs to both get over it and constantly be bad at Marvel higher-ups for not getting it.
Yes. I'll be mad about it till I die. Now,
until you die, I'll be accepting, but let's
anyway, the third thing is that Moira's depowered. So, and she has a warlock arm because Doug gave her a new arm after
Mystique and Destiny cut it off.
Yeah, so Moira's got a lot of stuff working against her, and essentially Ben Percy is like, okay, Moira's on the run. She's jumping through this gate. She's picking up a car. She's knocking the driver out. She's driving that car into the Krakoan gate to destroy it. She's gonna go get diagnosed. She's gonna get chased down by Mystique. Later on, she's in a motel room. She's gonna get like Mystique in there and then blow up the motel room. Like, it's an action movie on every stinking page. And we get this story of Moira trying to not only figure out how to escape death, but create a new cybernetic body for her consciousness that will allow her to have the quote unquote 11th life.
I don't necessarily think that where Robo Moira goes post this works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do think all the leading up to Robo Moira, like, that
It's
makes
awesome.
sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
in that tracks, especially if you are going to have Moira do a heel turn, if you will.
Yes.
It thematically tracks to not just have her against the X-Men, but have her be subsumed into what is the, like, platonic ideal of against the X-Men in this run.
Yeah.
Like, cool. That works for me. And it's an interesting design. Now, if someone's like, but what about Moira's character arc and all of her continuity? I don't care. That ship already sailed. It's fine. All those stories still exist. These are the stories we're doing now. Moira hadn't been used for 20 years before this. It's okay.
But
Moira has had to do ever.
Yeah, but based on the new rules that are established for her in this era, this does actually make sense. You know, this is someone who is so desperate to, like, she's on her last attempt, you know, to actually fix the situation, to actually come up with an answer that will result in, like, the world not being taken over by the AI and the singularity, right? And so
Right.
that is her goal. What's weird about it, obviously, is that turns her into the very thing that she is trying to stop, right?
Which is like poetic irony. Like, I get
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
The other thing that I think is, or the other kind of big thing that happens in this comic is that from the future back to the past is something that is hunting Moira and hunting everybody else, and that is the Omega Wolverine.
Yes. So at first we're not sure what this is. It turns out it's Wolverine, and he is
this guy that looks like Wolverine with a motherboard on him is in fact Wolverine with a motherboard on him.
It's so funny when they show you, I think in one of the issues, the quote unquote character design by Andy Kubert of this, and I'm like, that's all you came up with? Like, it's just Wolverine. He's just got some chips
weird.
on him.
It's weird because it's Adam Kubert who does the does that.
I'm sorry, I said Andy.
That looks cool on the cover, and it looks significantly less cool in the comic. And I don't think that's Vincentini's problem. Like, I think that's just the design.
Honestly,
there's not enough to it.
I honestly think Vincentini does a pretty good job with it, given what he's been given, especially when Wolverine is shot with the power neutralizer gun and is like dying and like is decaying, and like they're trying to just,
he has like skeleton and guts and mixed with that. That does look cooler. But when he's just black suit Wolverine with techno bits on him, that doesn't work. Like, I wish they would have leaned more into the sci-fi-ness of it that you get the vibe of in that first cover.
Yeah.
And you don't get in the rest of it.
No, I think that's the weaker part of the story is the Wolverine, and you get Dakin, Lara, and Gabby like hunting him.
I like those three coming together.
Yeah, I like that.
It's taking away from hanging out with our friend Moira, who is spiraling.
Well, now we've come to the moment everyone's been waiting for. The method that Moira uses to get back onto Krakoa. How does she do it, Zach?
She booty calls Banshee. And Banshee's like, Moira, you're alive. What's up with that? That's crazy. And she's like, I don't have time for this. And murders him and skins him alive and wears his body like a skin suit. There were some folks who got legitimately upset about this.
It's upsetting. It's a horror movie move, but it's so
top 10 funniest
insane.
things that ever happened in X-Men. Like, God bless Ben Percy. I'm reading one of his novels right now. And the man, when he's right, we've said this a lot on this podcast because I feel like I have to be the Ben Percy defender a lot of times because there's people online who don't vibe with it, and that's fine. The man knows what he's writing.
Oh, he knows exactly what he's doing.
It's so very like I want to read his Punisher when it's all collected because I feel like that, like Ghost Rider, like Wolverine, is the right tone for him, who can do like smart and thoughtful things. But also, if Ben Percy had the Punisher steal a jet ski, I'd say, yeah, that makes Ben Percy understands the character. He gets that Punisher would steal a jet ski and that he would have trauma. Like, it's not 100% trauma and it's not 100% camp. It is this beautiful mix that you rarely get in any medium that's not superhero comics.
I think what works about this, and I understand why like readers might take issue with it, you know, because it is a very like gory horror movie thing to do. But I think what it does is Ben has a very short period of time to really show just how desperate this woman is.
Yes.
Just how desperate this character is to survive. And it's a crazy thing. It's both awful, off-putting, and absolutely hilarious, like you said.
It also go on. Sorry, I cut you off.
Just to see,
I cut you off. No, to see. Yes, go.
Yeah, just to see this like this page of Moira coming through the gates and like removing his face from hers with this like there's gore, there's gunk in that, you know. So it's a lot. I also have questions.
At the same time, I would just say at the same time, like it's taking the idea of Krakoa and if mutants have resurrection, like it's taking that to the logical extreme of like, if I'm Moira, I can easily justify this behavior. Like, okay, yes, understand it's a lot, but like Banshee's gonna wake up and I have not done any damage to Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's gonna have a weird vibe when he learns about what happened, but like he's not gonna be traumatized from this. I'm just gonna do a little murder so that I can save the world. This is far from the worst thing that Moira has done. It is just true. Viscerally upsetting to a reader.
I do have questions about whether this would work.
I
genuinely don't think it would. I don't think it would work because I don't think that just wearing a mutant skin means that the Krakoan gates would recognize you as a mutant because it's dead.
How does Krakoa recognize you? Like magically, how does it know? Because here's the thing. Krakoa has eyeballs. We know Krakoa has eyeballs. It's very possible Krakoa's just like, oh yeah, that's that. It's possible that Sean Cass or that Black Tom is sitting there messing with the veg, and he's like, "That smells like my cousin Sean."
There's a lot of reasons it could work.
I just you guys can't see. That's what I'm giggling at.
I guess I thought the gates were like only like open to mutants, and so anyway. But then we get the Kitty Pryde stuff, and that.
But where do the genes connect? Listen, it's all.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that this book is a lot of fun.
It's kind of a hoot and a half.
It's great, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I even at the very end when Moira erupts from her grave, and I was not happy about that at the time because I had grander ideas of what the 11th life meant. I still go back and I read this, and I'm like, this rocks. Like Ben, mission accomplished.
It rocks. It does. It does a really good job transitioning Moira to the next step. Yeah. Like, I think that works really well. Now, whether that next step is well executed or not is not this story's problem. I think one of the challenges with this story is that people were coming off of a Jonathan Hickman story expecting, and this X Lives and X Deaths or whatever is very much positioned as the next Hoxpox. And that's not what it is. That's not what either of these stories are. What they are is a Ben Percy like action event comic. And if you take this book for what it is, it does that really well because it is saying something. It is expressing ideas. It is being a Wolverine action comic, like in that tone. And if that's not what you wanted following Jonathan Hickman, valid, and I get it from a like overarching meta franchise concept standpoint, but on its own, this is a pretty solid comic.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list. I think we're in the top 150.
Top 150. That's going to be a truly shocking thing because I wasn't sure where I was going to put this.
Well, here's what I did. While you were just talking, I looked up 200 up to 150. I think it's better than all of those stories.
I mean, it's better than House of M.
I got up to 166 Kid Cable. I'm like, this is better than the first 4 issues of Kid Cable.
This is better than the time that Captain America put Red Skull in a hole at 178. I will have to say that. However, the exact 2 pages that Red Skull gets put in that hole are better than this entire comic. It's just that there's another 20 pages.
Here's a question for you. At 161, we have X-Men Volume 6, 15 to 17, which is Forge in the Vault.
Another comic about wearing a dude.
It is. Pretty good, though. Like, those are really good issues. I'm curious if you think. But then at 148, we have, I know you did not like where this ended up on the list, is Resurrection of Magneto.
I just think Resurrection of Magneto isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's essentially the capstone to Al Ewing's X-Men work that I necessarily wanted, even though I think it's a good comic.
Sure.
If I'm looking there was
Marauders is up at 125. Hellions is at 128.
Gwenpool Strikes Back is at 129, and I think Gwenpool Strikes Back is stronger than this.
I would agree.
Empire X-Men. This is like on the same level as Empire X-Men in my mind. So we're like in this like 20-ish comic spread. We're in the right thing. Like I think this is better than Forge in the Vault, though.
Okay.
At 60. Well, 161. I would say 151 is Fall and Rise of the New Mutants from Zeb Wells.
Yep.
I think that is stronger than this comic as a whole.
Okay.
Honestly, both in a similar vein. However, like 155 is Ultimate X-Men, the Tomorrow People. I think this is better than the Tomorrow People.
It is. And right above that is the Albert and LCD arc of Wolverine, which this bears a lot of similarities to just in terms of forward propulsion. But I think this is better organized than that.
It is both better organized and has significantly less. What's his name? Freaking why can't I remember his name? It's not F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's his lover.
What? Zelda Fitzgerald?
No, his other lover, the writer Ernest Hemingway. Excuse me.
Okay, sorry.
That's not a bit. Those two men were in love.
I know, but I didn't think that was where you were taking it. I was like, oh, okay.
Hold on. If I'm talking about Lost Generation authors, who else would I be talking about except for the one that appears in that comic?
I don't think that's not in that arc. That's a different arc.
No, that's the Wolverine 38. That's where they go fight the fascists in Spain. Wait,
no, it's not.
Yes, wait.
No, it's not. This is the Albert and LCD.
Oh, this is right after he fights fascists in Spain.
Yes.
Okay. You're
One clause is before this.
You're right.
3 issues before it.
You know what? I am truly sorry. I did get those two mixed up because, let's be honest, we kind of arbitrarily cut those stories in half because Larry Hama just got powers on through.
It's true.
Okay, I understand this bit now. Yes, this is better than those. I don't think this is as good as the Bendis Limbo arc, those 3 issues, which I think just like as a whole work better.
Yep.
I agree. I do think that Fraser Irving's art beats out Vincentini, who I think is generally good, but also Vincentini is like the last of the artists before Marvel starts getting into really a lot of Spanish artists with manga influences that I don't think have the same effect as Vincentini and have started to dilute the art styles of the book in a very similar way as them finding Pepe Larraz clones has diluted Marvel's art, but that's not Vincentini's fault. That time Cyclops fought the squid, is that better or worse?
I mean, that's From the Ashes. I think I would give that the edge.
Then let's put this at the new 154.
Yeah.
X Deaths of Wolverine. Folks, if you haven't reread this one, go read it, because you should go in with pure intentions and an honest heart, and you'll be like, oh, wait, there's a lot to love here. And if you don't like it, I don't care. It's
it's so much
I don't
fun.
know what to say. I think this is great. It made me want to reread X Lives of Wolverine, which I remember being worse as an event, but honestly, I'm not sure if I just read that as like, hey, here's a Wolverine arc, how I'm going to feel about it.
Yeah.
Because that one does have Omega Red and Wolverine hooking up.
Speaking of Lost Generation couples, I don't know.
It's just that Omega Red is not really an F. Scott Fitzgerald type.
No.
I'm not sure what, I guess. Here's the thing. Omega Red's more of an Ernest Hemingway type, but Wolverine's definitely the Ernest Hemingway type in any relationship that he's in. So what is Omega Red? Is Omega Red have a personality? Because you want to go with like one of the Russian greats just because it's Russian, but he's absolutely not a Tolstoy. He's absolutely not a Dostoevsky.
No. He's got to be kind of like a murderous communist.
Like, he's more of like a Raskolnikov, but that's a fictional character.
That's okay. We don't have to come up with a comp right now. That's all right.
I'm running out of Russians.
Well, we did it. We talked about Moira and Banshee. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm okay if Moira never shows up again. Like, I think we've hit the point. It's like, if someone wants to
coming back.
I think that if someone ever wants to do something with Moira, they have to do something so different.
Yeah.
Because to do anything else would be to be incredibly regressive with the character, and I would hate that.
Yeah. Plus, she's so associated with this era and these books that I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, but that means that someone's going to do it. That means that someone's going to do it.
I guess we'll find out.
Eventually. Look, as I've come to terms with, if I got mad about every X-Men comic that was bad that existed, I'd never have a good time. So, like, I'm not even going to pretend to make up bad X-Men comics from the future. They will exist, and they're going to be bad then, and that's fine.
Maybe they just
X-Men comics from the past and present too. I can live.
Well, they continue to exist. Please, folks,
X-Men comics.
Come over to, well, no, I mean bad X-Men comics. They just keep putting them out. But folks can follow the Roundtable Age of Doug stuff over at Comics XF. I didn't do the last one, but I did do a scathing review of J. Michael Straczynski's 1776.
From Babylon 5?
Yes,
the Babylon 5 guy?
Yes, he did an issue of, it's a mini of comics called 1776. So if you hadn't read my scathing review of that, I hope you'll take a second and take a look. You can always follow me on social, Adam Reck on Blue Sky and Instagram. And Zach, what are we doing next week?
Next week, folks, it's Shark Week. Next week's Shark Week. We're doing Shark Week.
We missed that by several months.
Hold on. Do you know when Shark Week is? Because I legitimately...
Zach, Comics XF did 2 solid weeks of Shark Week content this summer. So yeah, we know when Shark Week is.
Well...
It's not in November.
Adam, I'm just saying, that's on you. You could have told me that there was like a coordinated effort, and I would have been game. If you would have said, Zach, we have to do a Shark Week episode, I would have said absolutely, because the moment I saw that we could do a Shark Week episode, I immediately did one.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks. It's Shark Week.
Oh, listen, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about... We have already covered 2 out of the 3 Thanksgiving-based comic books that we could cover.
It's true.
The other one we'll eventually do on like a thing about engagements or something. Who knows?
Love it.
Until then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.